the daily stand-up. So the daily stand-up is a ceremony, as it says, happens every single day, every work day, with the team that is together. You can see in this picture, this is a software development team. They have the information of what they're doing up behind them on a board there. The gentleman who is talking in the background, you can see everybody's kind of looking at him. He has a ball in his hand. He's actually using that to indicate that he's the guy that's supposed to be talking at the time. And when he's done, he'll hand it to someone else. But this daily stand-up is a really, really valuable, I would say probably the second most valuable ceremony that they have in Scrum. We'll talk about retrospectives later. That, in my mind, is the most valuable, but this is incredibly valuable. For example, I've had executive teams, C-level executive teams. One company I worked with had 9 executives in it. And just by instituting daily stand-ups, they were able to get nearly 8 hours a week back in their day, in their week, in their work week that was available to do other things. 8 hours of capacity against 9 executives. It was an immense amount of money in terms of capacity cost that was saved. But what they were able to get done on a weekly basis just by implementing daily stand-ups and what it was able to replace for them was invaluable. And this wasn't even for a software development team. This was for the leadership group of an organization. So daily stand-ups, how do they typically work? Well, when you're usually starting a daily stand-up routine and you're starting with Scrum, these are the 3 questions you want to start with. What did you do yesterday? What will you be doing today? And is there anything in your way? Now let's go through each one of these questions. What did you do yesterday? It gives everybody an idea that, hey, I got something done. Here's what I did yesterday. I worked on this. I got to this point. It's good because if someone is working on something and every day, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, they keep saying they're still working on the same thing, it's not getting done. So there may be a challenge with the person having some problems getting things done and they're not bringing it up to anybody. It may be that the work is too big, that it should be a little bit smaller, that it should be small enough that I can get this work done in a couple of days, which is an indicator that I need to work on breaking my work down to little smaller units, as we talked about in story writing and the INVEST principles. Or it could be other factors, but it's an indicator that maybe something needs to be happening. But if you're constantly saying, hey, I got this done today, today, the second question, what will you be doing today? Well, today I'm going to pick up this card, I'm going to move it along, and I'm going to work on this thing. I'm going to pair with John or with Susan, and we're going to work on this item together. And then, is there anything in your way? Is the third question. So you look at those cards on the back wall for this team over on the cork board there. They've got 3 columns. They've got a doing, a testing or a checking off, and then a done column. So this item, seeing cards move across here on a regular basis is a good thing. It's showing that we're moving. It's showing that things are flowing. It's showing that we understand the work. It's showing that we broke the work down really well. It's showing that we don't have any impediments in front of us. It's showing that we understand the type of work we need to do, and I have the techniques and the skills as a team member to be able to get that done. It's showing that the work is small enough that it should be able to go out, and if it was thought about correctly, like we talked about in release planning, that it should be deliverable in its own right, and that when we get to this end of the sprint, this is anything getting in your way. Question 3 is really, really important because we're making commitments. When we do iterative delivery, when we're talking about Scrum and we do sprints and we say at the end of a sprint, we're going to deliver this, we're making a commitment to our product owner, our stakeholders, our organization, and to ourselves that we know how much we can get done, we know how to do the work, and we know that we can get it done in this much period of time, and we will deliver it with high quality, with low to no defects. Eventually, you want to get to no defects, and that's completely possible. But the idea is that we're making that commitment, we're sticking to that commitment. So daily stand-ups are really, really valuable for many, many reasons. It's one of the ceremonies, I'd say the second most important ceremony next to retrospectives, but it is very, very important. It is calculatably valuable to the organization, and it keeps work fun and fresh and moving along. So really important thing to institute, something that people sometimes start to back off on, or they don't do it as frequent as they should. It's really, really important to keep doing this on a regular basis, even if the questions tune down a little bit with an experienced team where they say, hey, I don't have to see what you did yesterday. I can see the cards moving along, but what are you going to do today? And is there anything in your way? Typically, a very mature Scrum team is able to do things in that manner because the things that they did about yesterday, it's showing up on the board. It's all visible work. They can see things moving along, and everybody understands and works so well with each other, and they see what's going on. They interact so often that they really kind of understand what would happen yesterday because they were probably working on some things with them. So that's daily stand-ups in a very quick manner.